Hey, MONDOTOYS here, and today we're doing something a little different, and we're going to be doing a tier list with the Gamerverse 2 packs, aka the MVC2 figures made by Hasbro a while back. So let's get right into it. First, we got the Psylocke Vs Thanos 2 pack. This was the first of the 2 packs to come out, and it was a super cool one. I remember it being a pain to order on Target. That thing sold out instantly, but I was very lucky to get it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this 2-pack in A right now. The Psylocke carries it 110%. I liked it for the Thanos too. I didn't have a Thanos in my collection previously, and I like the colors of it. Of course, it's the MVC2 styling of it, so you can't go wrong with that. But definitely the Psylocke is what carried this 2-pack. The new updated the new updated Psylocke looks absolutely fantastic on the good female body as well. With the reverse ag crunch and the butterfly, which I don't know why Hasbro doesn't use that female body more, is confusing, but with all the effects, extra heads, the Psylocke definitely carries for that one, so definitely A tier. Next up, we have the War Machine and Omega Red 2-pack, and this was the Walmart exclusive, and this one was you know, not my favorite. You know, if you don't got a War Machine, you don't got an Omega Red, you know, that's fine. I would like to say the War Machine, the bigger attractor for this 2-pack, because he looks like the MVC2 version of it. My thoughts of this 2-pack is that Omega Red is the better figure and War Machine is the better looking figure, if that makes sense. War Machine is on that same retro body with the incredibly gummy legs, making this figure really hard to just pose and stand. He's just really awkward, and it's just hard to get him into any sort of action pose. Omega Red is pretty standard, you know, butterfly, ab crunch, pretty just run-of-the-mill Marvel Legends, and it functions as a figure, and that's why it's kind of like a highlight in this 2-pack in a weird way. And that makes sense why I say that Omega Red is the better figure, you know, as in the functionality of it all. Definitely the lowest of all the 2-packs. It is definitely one of those ones, so I definitely got just for completionist sake of the line. All right, next up we have the Captain America and Venom 2-pack. This is a tough one because both of them are solid figures. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do this right now. I think I'm gonna put them above Psylocke and Thanos. Yeah. Captain America and Venom are 2 very good figures. You know, Venom to a lesser extent because it's a reuse of the retro card one. I'm part of the minority who actually really likes that body and thinks it's actually really good, you know, despite it having the pins and the slightly gummy legs. They actually did fix the neck and gave it the proper hinge disc instead of the god-awful just ball peg. And then the Captain America, you cannot go wrong with a just true classic Captain America with butterflies, a shield, a full shield with no sort of little divots or cracks. It's just the full Captain America shield, which we've been needing to get for quite a long time. And it's definitely interesting to get right after getting the Secret Wars one, which is a more like comic book inspired one based off the Secret Wars comics. And this Captain America comes with a little less. He just comes with an alternate face. And 2 thumbs up hands for some reason, or they could be pointing hands, and then he obviously comes with the shield charge effect. But back to Venom, I think looking at it now, the Venom is the most MVC inspired figure of this entire line, being, I think this is like one of the only iterations of Venom where he's like this really saturated cyan blue, and the head that they have for Venom is extremely inspired by the art. And I think that's what really puts it over for me, is this being like, you know, this could be Captain America in basically like any format, but this is the MVC2 Venom, if you know what I mean. All right, next up, Gargantos or Shumagorath. I'm going to put this in S. This is beyond a Marvel Legends. This is just like, I don't even know. Calling this a Marvel Legends is like a complete understatement. Never have I seen Hasbro for the Marvel Legends line do anything kind of like this, but I do collect the Black Series and Transformers, and I have not seen them do anything like this to this scale. Probably outside of you know, a HasLab, of course, but this guy just looks fantastic. He comes with all these bendy tendrils. The eyeball looks great. You know, he's a real like centerpiece to like a collection. And this is the first time we've ever gotten like a Shumagorath Gargantos like anything. I know there's like a little tiny like hero clicks piece. I think that's the correct thing, like that little kind of like Warhammer-esque game with those little Marvel characters. I think that was the only thing. I think it was like a con exclusive as well, but that was the only Shumagora thing outside of anything. So getting that for in terms of a Marvel collection and also for an MVC2 thing is just, you know, it's a pretty big deal, and they knocked it out of the park. All right, so here we have the Wolverine and Silver Samurai. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in S as well, but this is a really weird one because Wolverine is the only reason why this is this high. This Silver Samurai in this set is horrible. It is really, 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 really bad, and it is probably worse than the War Machine and Omega Red by quite a bit. You know, this guy, I used to have the old Silver Samurai figure, that I think it was the retro card one. You know, that was a pretty mediocre figure, but I don't know why. You know, this figure looks great with the new paint apps and new head and the new torso, but man, it just feels horrible to pose. And this guy can't even get into like any poses at all. And for it to just kind of feel neutrally bad in your hands is just like a super, super bad warning sign in terms of just like a bad figure. You know, you can't even get this guy into a decent pose, let alone just like kind of have him in your hand without him falling apart, because the shoulder pads constantly fall apart. Just like difficult to get into any pose. Just not a good figure. And if the Wolverine wasn't as good as it is, this figure, this 2-pack would probably be in like B. If this was like, you know, like the normal engineered Wolverine with just the standard act wrench, but this is like a whole new wave. Again, kind of with the Shumagora, like this doesn't feel like a Hasbro Marvel Legends. This feels like something completely different, and you could tell that they really tried this figure capturing the artwork for MVC2. Real bulky, you know, short Wolverine that's real low to the ground. You know, they really capture that, and having the articulation, you know, go for that same kind of look is just like, they really knocked it out of the park. This figure feels like really premium, kind of like a step up from like the engineering you feel from like Jada figures, mainly in terms of like the plastic quality. And on top of that, you get the effects. This figure is just, man, it's really good. My only complaint is that they didn't come with, you know, the bone claws, because there are two versions of Wolverine and MVC2, one with the adamantium claws and one with the bone claws. That is my only gripe, my only nitpick, and the Wolverine absolutely carries that. And then last but not least, we have the Juggernaut. You know, this is a good one. I would probably put this like right here. You know, it's a good Juggernaut. I'm forgetting the last time we got a Juggernaut. The last time we got a Juggernaut was with the 2-pack with Colossus, I think. And I think that was on like a different body mold that was a lot smaller. But this Juggernaut is really, really freaking big. He doesn't really get that much articulation, you know, because he's a big guy. He can hit a few poses, and that's kind of it. And other than that, he's gonna be like almost kind of a hazard to like your shelf or collection, because he's just such a big figure, you know. But I mean, he's a great, you know, just legacy Juggernaut to have. I mean, he's gigantic, which is appreciated, but not like a super involved figure, you know. If you want a big Juggernaut, you can get the Diamond Select one, or you can go with this one. He does come with that little effect, which is neat, but it's you know, it's a Juggernaut. After looking at all these placements, maybe we could go ahead and do we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna switch this around. We're gonna do this. I think we're gonna do this. I don't know, because I was just more biased, you know, about it being like the MVC2 wave. You know, this is a thing I've been wanting for quite a long time. I think this is where it's gonna be. You know I didn't really use the B and C, but we're looking at the packs as like a whole. You know, even though Wolverine's at 1 and the Silver Samurai is the worst figure in the entire wave, the Wolverine carries so hard, so that's why it's at the very top. But this is what we're working with right now. So let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for more Mondo.